Hello and welcome to the Local Lowdown episode number 1. My name is Zach Bischoff and I am joined over there by.
Danny Shanhunter.
All right, thank you very much, Danny. And just your thoughts on this is a new endeavor for us. This is the successor to the All Things Sports podcast. Just your thoughts on getting the end of the All Things Sports chapter and the beginning of the Local Lowdown chapter.
Yeah, Zach. There's an old saying: as one door closes, another one opens. So I'm just really excited to get rolling here, man.
All right. In that case, we are going to talk about this is the show rundown for today. So we are first going to talk about the Stanley Cup Final. Danny, your thoughts on the Stanley Cup Final and how it has gone so far?
Yeah, Zach, for sure, man. You know, great time of year to be a sports fan. That is for sure. Because we um we just had the NBA Finals wrap up, and we are still in the middle of the Stanley Cup Finals, which is just awesome. Um, and man, I really am just super intrigued and interested to see how this whole series pans out, because obviously right now the Florida Panthers have a commanding 3-1 lead over the Vegas Golden Knights. Um, but Zach, I think a lot of people are writing off Florida way too early, because you know Vegas is a very complete team, right? They don't have a lot of errors. I mean, their goalie Aiden Hill has a 936 save percentage, which is pretty good for any goalie, especially in the Stanley Cup Final. So he has just been very good. And Vegas has found numerous ways to win games here. They've they in the first two games they kind of blew Florida out a little bit, but then in game four they were able to squeak by with a 3-2 3-2 win. So they've just been able to win games in a lot of different ways. But credit to Florida also, Zach. I mean, they've also been able to turn the page a little bit and flip the switch, because being down in a 2-0 hole and going into overtime, it's very easy, for a team to kind of give up, and Florida hasn't done that. So, right, I think game 5 is tonight, and I think a ton of how Florida comes out is going to be on how is going to be depending upon if Matthew Kachuk is able to play and how effective he will be. But I mean, I'm excited to see if Florida can kind of um, make magic here twice, because people forget, they beat Boston 4-3 in 7 games when being down 3-1. That's the same position they're in right now, Zach. You know what I mean?
Correct. I just sent you a message. Yeah, I think yeah, it'll be interesting to see. I think Vegas closes it out. I believe it's tonight. I believe they hold the 3-1 advantage. I believe. So I think they will eventually close it out. I think they will win the cup. I think it's in Vegas. Am I correct?
I believe so. Yeah.
All
Which,
right.
I mean, and I tend to think that you're right, Zach, in that Vegas will win. I think Florida, though, I think they're going to make things interesting, because Kachuk talked about in his post game press conference in game 5, um, was just that their philosophy right now is, okay, let's continue to put the pressure on Vegas. Let's get it back to Florida. So obviously that's going to be their goal, and I think they're going to be successful for that for at least um, get game 5 coming up here. I don't think it ends in 5. I lean more towards Vegas in 7, just because I don't know if Florida can sustain that level of stick to itiveness like that. I mean, there is a reason why Vegas has a has a three to one lead currently. Zach, to your point.
All right. Thanks for that, Danny. And next, we're going to talk about the NBA Finals, as the rundown says. So, Danny, I'll let you take this one. Your thoughts on the NBA Finals and the Denver Nuggets able to wrap it up last night and win the NBA, come out on top on the of the NBA Finals.
For sure, Zach. You know that the NBA Finals is a heck of a series, heck of a playoffs for the NBA in general, man. I mean, they're just all the credit in the world goes to the Miami Heat. I mean, coming in from the play-in tournament. For our listeners that might not follow the NBA super closely, the
Like
Miami
me,
Heat.
like me.
Yeah, that's very true, Zach. But I think everybody can appreciate Zach. How well how how much of an underdog the Miami Heat were this whole playoffs. I mean, they had to win a game to become the eighth seed. They had to beat the last year's NBA champion Milwaukee Bucks. And they just played with so much heart. And Eric Spoelstra talked after the game and just talked about how proud he was of his guys, man. And they had a heck of an heck of an effort on defense, and they really almost came all the way back to force a game six. At the end of the day, though, Denver did pull out the 4 point victory, and deservedly so. I mean, just again, congrats to Denver. They had a heck of a season. I mean, this is their first championship in franchise history, which is pretty awesome. And there's not a guy more deserving than Nikola Jokic to kind of captain this team. I mean, he was unbelievable down the stretch. Just I think he went 12 for 16 with 28 points or something in Game 5 of the NBA Finals, and that's what he's been doing this whole playoffs. That was nothing new for him. He's just been putting up great numbers, and that obviously um, continued to be the case right until the last game of the season. There, all the credit in the world also to Michael Porter Jr. A guy that's was super highly rated coming in from college. Battled some injuries. He had heck of a game five. He had 16 points and 13 rebounds, I think, which was just incredible. The depth that the Nuggets have and the way that Michael Malone used them was just incredible for me. Was just really awesome to see. I mean, the Denver Nuggets, they are just a heck of an NBA basketball team. And obviously, Eric Spoelstra said that they beat the Heat fair and square, and the Heat had a heck of a run to but in the end it wasn't enough. So I'm really I think Denver is going to continue to build. Zach, I think they're going to continue to this is not going to be the last time we see them in the finals. This is not going to be the last time we see Nikola Jokic in the finals for sure. I just think I am super excited to see kind of how they can sustain themselves and really kind of become a dynasty.
All right, yeah, good stuff. Thank you, Danny. Thank you for your insight into the NBA Finals. I don't have much to add in this area as I do not watch the NBA as much. But a topic that both of us have a lot of input on is the Pittsburgh Pirates. We're going to go there next. So, Danny, just your thoughts on the Pirates season as we sit on today, June the 13th, 2023.
Yeah, Zach, for sure, man. Obviously, really excited to talk some local sports here on the local lowdown. But man, the Pirates really have been a tale of 2 months, right, Zach? We started out so incredibly well, 20-8 in our first 28 games, and then we had a kind of a suspect May where if we didn't have Mitch Keller, for those that might not be Pirates fans, Mitch Keller has had some great outings, and I think will be. I'll obviously get your thoughts on this, Zach, as we go along here. But I think Mitch Keller is really making a case this year to be in the Cy Young conversation. Um, but I mean, the Pirates, part of an 162 game season is kind of and the ups and downs of a 162 game season. You got to be able to bounce back, and that's exactly what the Pirates have done, Zach. You know, they sorry, they getting a little technical difficulties here, but we'll be all right. They they have been able to battle back, man, for sure. They have battled against the Mets, and you know they just have really battled down the stretch, and that's been really encouraging to see. Because as a Pirates fan, for the longest time, all I've wanted, Jack, was a team that can compete, right? A team that is able to root for down the stretch, and that's what we got.
Oh, there we go. Sorry about that. I apologize if you could hear the train horn in the background. Yeah. So next we're going to. Oh, that darn train.
Yeah, I do have a question for you, by the way, man.
Yes, sir.
Do you have any? First off, do you think Mitch Keller is going to be in the Cy Young conversation?
Well, I have one thing for you. Tip your screen down a little bit.
Thank you. I'm
Yes,
sorry
sir.
about that. Yeah.
There you go. I gotta move you. Anyway,
No,
I
thanks, yeah.
yeah, working out the kinks. Yeah, but I think Mitch Keller is. I think he can be in the. I think he'll be in the conversation. Um, yeah, I don't know. I don't know if he'll get it, but I think he's certainly our ace this year, and I think that he's a good pitcher when he wants to be. I mean, sure he has a lot of quality starts, but some that aren't so good. But I think that he will
That
be
that
in
that
the
very true, Zach. Very
conversation.
no, I completely agree, Zach. What I've just been so impressed with is just the progression. I'm just so glad that everybody's been always talking about how he's going to be a great prospect. And in previous years, Pirates fans
Oh,
talked about how much potential he had, how much he could be. Well, now he's kind of starting to realize that potential. And Zach, possibly the biggest news of the I don't know of the Pirates season, but of the Pirates month of June so far, man, I would venture to say is McCutcheon reaching number 2,000. I mean,
mm-hmm.
I am just that is awesome to me, Zach.
Yeah, it is. Put my put myself back on screen here. So there we go. Yeah, I think 2000 is a major milestone for McCutcheon, and it was quite something to see. I was watching on the TV, but it was some milestone for him to get 2,000 hits in his career at home at PNC Park. He did get a heck of an ovation from the crowd there, and yeah, it's just I'd love to see those types of moments and how those moments are captured.
No,
Uh,
definitely, Zach. And I
mhm.
think, dude, you mentioned the great, like the I think one of the strongest points there is just it is so cool to me that he started here, drafted here, was a young player, was a young star, young MVP here, and now he's able to bring his kids back, and they're able to like see how much of an all time great for Pittsburgh he was. I think that's just so incredibly cool.
Yeah. So yeah, it'll be fun to see how he progresses and how he can help. The one thing I want to touch on is I can see the leadership his leadership in the clubhouse I can see that being a direct effect on the team. I mean, they scored 14 runs the other night, so I can see having a veteran presence like that, how it can help. It can really uh, do a lot to help a team that could struggle at some points. So yeah.
Absolutely, Zach. Dude, another great point, man, because I just think that's what we've lacked in the past. And I know we gotta focus on the future. We gotta be optimistic. We got a lot of guys, a lot of prospects such as Henry Davis and Andy Rodriguez in triple and double A. But it's hard not just and I know we don't want to get complacent and always want to keep striving. It's also hard not to get too excited because look at where we were just a few years ago. We had, no veteran leadership. The guys that we brought in, veterans, didn't really do much. Dude, now Carlos Santana, Andrew McCutcheon are contributing members of this team. And I sound like a broken record, but dude, it's been incredible to see because, like you said, Zach, that's helping the young guys out here, man. That is a reason why we're currently in first place of the NL Central. It's just we're finding different ways to win baseball games, and we're willing to hustle. We're willing to put in that. I I don't know. It's hard not to be super excited right now. I think
All
we
right.
should enjoy this also. I think a lot of
Yeah,
people, yeah.
yeah. We are. I am going to enjoy the second of it. I've been watching the games recently. They've been fun to watch. My face looks a lot better now that I've brightened it up a little bit. All right, and now we're going to talk about one of the biggest stories, and we gotta wrap this up pretty soon because I don't know what the weather's going to do over here. It looks pretty dark. But so Danny, your thoughts? What do we at? You can go moderately long on this. Your thoughts on Lionel Messi to Inter Miami coming over to the one of the best soccer players in the world coming over to the United States, and also
Yeah, Zach.
also what you think is going to do. Sorry about that. Also, what you think it's going
No,
to
go
do
ahead, man.
to the viewership of soccer here in the United States.
Yeah, Zach. Again, very very busy time on the sports calendar here. That's certainly an understatement because tons of things happening, and as you mentioned, man, Lionel Messi coming to Inter Miami, going to be part of the MLS here, which that is incredible. Just because of the magnitude of how good Lionel Messi is, man. You see um, David Beckham did this late in his career. Zlatan Ibrahimovic did this in his career. Nobody quite to the scope of Lionel Messi. Just because he is still, help was an instrumental part. He's been an instrumental part in every championship he's won, in every in the most recent World Cup title that he helped Argentina win. He's been instrumental, but he's still kind of at the in his prime of a career. I mean, I know he's a little bit on the older side now, but he's still putting in shifts. That's for sure. So I am just very intrigued to kind of see what that does to boost viewership. To your point, Zach, because I think that's got to boost viewership, man. I mean, it's a great of the sport. Which one thing I'm super curious to hear your thoughts on, Jack, is just um how motivated Lionel Messi is going to be, right? Because you see players similar to the effects of David Beckham and Zlatan Ibrahimovic, and they kind of maybe go to the MLS and try to latch on to a title contender and maybe try to obviously score goals, but don't might be more reserves than actual than starters. I think it's going to be very interesting to see what Lionel Messi's role on Inter Miami is, considering they're the last in last place. So I'm curious to hear your thoughts on that, Jack. If you got me.
Yeah, so I think Lionel Messi coming to the um, Inter Miami is going to be interesting, and this will be our final segment unfortunately, I do want to cut it short because I did see a couple cracks and lightning. But um, yeah, I think Lionel Messi to Inter Miami is going to be. I think is they are currently, I believe, in last place in Major League Soccer as we stand here today. So I think that having a soccer great, to Danny's point, on the team is going to help them out. It'll be interesting to see, his what how he quickly he gels with the team. Now, I don't think he has joined the team yet. I also don't think he has signed the contract. I want to get your thoughts on this, Danny. The contract terms. Now, we don't have official terms yet, but what we do have is he is going to get a cut of the MLS streaming service, MLS Season Pass from Apple on Apple TV, and he's also going to get a heavily discounted, or the opportunity to get a heavily discounted stake in the club upon retirement. So, Danny, your thoughts on what you think the monetary the monetary figure of his contract is going to be with sponsorships and everything
Yeah,
like that.
Zach, dude, I was hoping that you'd I was really really hoping that you'd bring this up, man, because um the reports of him going to Miami, and he obviously confirmed that, but everybody said that the deal was going to be so quote unquote creative just because of what you mentioned, Zach, with having a stake in the actual team that you're playing on, which is crazy to me. Just that's an option, I guess. If you're Lionel Messi, though,
No,
they
it
figure it
said
out to make him
it said once he retires. I saw somewhere it
once.
said
Okay,
once he
that's interesting.
retires.
That
Uh,
makes a little bit more. Thanks for clarifying that, because
yes, sir.
that would be a little. I don't know. That'd be interesting to see there. But I mean, it's just I'm super excited to see again the magnitude of what this does to viewership, man. Because and obviously I assume he's super intrigued to see what him going to the MLS will bring him in endorsements and stuff. Because um I don't think he's hurting for money, but I think he obviously wants to continue to earn a lot of it, because he still thinks he's at the in the prime of his career. Um, but I just I am again, that brings me back to a point we brought up earlier, Zach. Is just um, the role. I'm super intrigued to see kind of what he does, because if you're getting all this money for endorsements and don't really got to do very much, how motivated are you gonna to make money? You're not gonna be cut from the team next week because you're Lionel Messi. How motivated are you to help a team that's struggling in last place right now? I'm fascinated by that.
Yeah, it'll be interesting to see how that what happens. We will see when he joins the team in July. All right, now that is going to be our last segment. We were planning to talk about the PGA Tour and Live Golf merger, but we will push that into next week or whenever our next episode happens to be. But we did want to touch on one thing. We are re-recording episode 1 from yesterday due to because my audio was bad, so we're re-recording. And since we recorded yesterday, Pittsburgh has lost a legendary figure in the sports media, Mr. Stan Savran, nicknamed the Godfather. Danny, your thoughts on just the passing and the impact that Mr. Savran had on the Pittsburgh media and specifically Pittsburgh sports media space?
Yeah, Zach, for sure, man. There's no doubt that Stan Saturn had a huge impact on Pittsburgh sports media, and I know he was kind of battling illnesses, battling cancer. So my condolences, man, to him and his family. I mean, he was just really enjoyed listening to him growing up here, man.
Yeah, he was away from because he did a local radio. He did a lot in this city. He was on a couple of the local news stations. He most recently worked with AT&T Sportsnet which is the local regional sports network in the area. I'm sure most of you know that because most of you most of you listening are from Pittsburgh. So, um, yeah, it's just, he did a lot. He did a lot for his community, and obviously my condolences to Stan and his family as well. With that, we will see you next time right here on the. Oh, he's Danny. He is Danny Shanholzer. I am Zach Bischoff, and we will see you next time right here on the Local Lowdown podcast.